This video is gonna hurt for some people. It's gonna hurt. It hurts me, Seth. It hurted me, Seth, to make this video because I don't want to do it, but somebody has to do it. Welcome to my channel. This is Joy from She Speaks Too. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you share with a friend. So I recently traveled back to Texas, and I have to say at the airport I met a subscriber. She was in Liberia. She was there to open a clinic. She's a nurse also. She told me she was opening a clinic at Battery Factory. I made the mistake to say Battery Factory. She said, Mana ha call it Battery Factory. So if you are watching, I did not get your name. I didn't get to take a picture. Please comment below so we can support your clinic, and maybe I can even go and take a tour and see how we can help. So as you can tell by the title of this video, Africans, we have to travel better, we have to do better. And as your unofficial travel ambassador, I feel like it is with great responsibility that I make this video in order to address issues that have been plaguing African travel for centuries. So I have been picked and selected by myself to do this video in order to make our travel experience better. And it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt some of us to hear these things because we all do it, but this is so we can do better as a people. And when we see our African brothers doing it, then we can say, hey, She Speaks Too says we have to do it a different way. So the first thing we have to do to enhance our travel experience as Africans is we have to follow the rules. If this applies to you, then you need to follow the rules. If they are boarding the plane and they're boarding by group number and they're calling group number 1 to 3, if you're in group 5, why are you standing up? And number 1, why are you blocking the entrance? It's one thing to stand up if you want to, but why do you have to block the entrance and stand right there where the people who are in groups 1, 2, 3 are going through that they can't get in? I stood behind a guy for almost 2 minutes. I was in group 3 because I was waiting for him to move up, and I didn't pay attention. I wasn't noticing that he wasn't moving up. Finally, the lady from the airline walks up and says, "Sir, we're boarding groups 1 through 3. What group are you in?" He says 5. And she says, well, you need to step aside and let the people board. So it's one thing for you to stand up if you just want to stand up and kind of wait, but it's another thing to stand up and then block the entrance for those of us who are in the group numbers that have been called. Why do that? We don't need to do that. Another thing that happens is they have started deboarding the plane by row numbers. They announced it. They said when the plane arrives, we will start deboarding by row numbers, so you don't need to stand up unless your row is called. So rows 1 through 5 stand up. Why does the whole plane stand up and start grabbing their things? We're all going to the same place. We all want to get there. So just wait for your row number to be called. It's not that big of a deal. We're all going to get to our destination. Number 2, when you are traveling as an African, I feel like we are already looked down upon in Europe, in places that are predominantly Caucasian. And so we have to travel in a way that commands respect. I was traveling when I was going to Liberia in March. I was sitting on there were 3 rows by the window, and there were 4 rows in the middle, and then 3 other rows by the window. So I was sitting in the rows by the window. There was a gentleman. He was traveling with female relatives, and I can tell by the way they were talking very loud, that they were all relatives. They were going to like a function to visit a family member. Maybe it was a graduation. And they were talking loud, enjoying themselves. Nothing wrong with that. As my mom says, yes, you can play with it. As my mom says, a yang 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 yang, a yang 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 yang, a yang yang yang. So they were talking loudly, enjoying themselves. Like I said, nothing wrong with that. When you first get on the plane, there's excitement, you know, there's bustling. So he's talking. When the stewardess comes around, she's like, beef or fish? So she's asking everyone, you have 2 choices, beef or fish. She goes to him and she says, "Sir, would you like beef or fish?" Now this is the same man who was a yang 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 yang, a yang 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 yang. So she says, "Beef or fish?" He looks at her. She says, "Sir, would you like beef or fish?" He says, "Yeah." So it's one thing if you didn't understand the question, just say, I'm sorry, could you repeat that? But he clearly saw that she had been passing out food, because before the stewardess reaches to you, she's rows and rows ahead, and you see that she's passing out food. You can smell the food. If you didn't understand her, ma'am, can you repeat that? Beef or fish? But this is the same man who was so confident with his relatives. Now he has this stewardess or air hostess of European descent asking him a question. He can barely look her in the eye, and he's staring at her as if he has some kind of issue, which he clearly doesn't, because like I said, he was a yang 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 with his relatives. Beef or fish? Yeah. So I don't even know if he ate. I mean, to this day, we don't know if he ate. We don't know what happened, what became of him. So another thing that Africans do, and I'm African, this is to me too, to everyone, is they answer the phone on speaker in the public, on a plane, as we're sitting there getting ready to, we're boarding. That's before you have to turn your phone off. Full conversations on speaker, in a plane, in a confined area. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop doing that. I mean, one man was cussing out a relative. Me and my husband, this was in January when we're going back to Liberia. He was you a daddy lie. You lie. You can steal. You stole my money. And this was a full conversation for the public to hear. So we have to do better. Another thing we do is we play music. I love gospel. I'm a Christian, but I don't need to hear the whole album. I don't need to hear the whole album. If you don't have earphones or Bluetooth, then maybe you shouldn't listen to your album. And so, I mean, the whole Christian album, I got to, you know, I got to be saved all over again. Treating you like a precious jewel, got to give up, I'll be a fool. You are my all in all. It was a whole revival service because someone decided to play their music just out loud on speaker, assumed that all of us wanted to listen to that. Like I said, I'm a Christian. I love Christian music, but not by force, not by fire and force. You would make me listen to your song today. Okay, so number 4, we have to stop being inconsiderate. If you see an elderly person walking, taking their time, the thing for you to do is not to cut in front of them. And I've been seeing that more and more with African men. There's no consideration. They're not holding doors open for women. If you get on the bus in order to be transported to the airplane, if they're sitting, they see you with a child, no one says, you know what, go ahead and have a seat. We have to be more considerate. When we landed in Newark, I was at the conveyor belt, because you have to, if you do international travel, you have to take your luggage down and recheck it in. So as I was standing around, I didn't go to the beginning of the conveyor belt where the luggage was dropping because it was so congested. So I was standing towards the end. And so as I'm standing there, I get one of my suitcases, and I'm just waiting for about 10-15 minutes. I don't see my other suitcases. I go to the beginning where I had seen people pulling down luggage, and I assumed they had a lot of luggage, but there were my luggage pieces, 3 of them that I had been waiting for. So what they were doing was pulling it down, maybe because it looked like theirs. Instead of putting it back on the conveyor belt, they were just making a pile. And so that's inconsiderate. I'm standing there and I'm traveling with a 5-year-old. I'm a woman with 4 pieces of luggage and a car seat and a carry-on and a backpack in my purse, and you're taking my luggage down there, not to help me, but just to make sure you get yours and then you're on your way. We have to be more considerate. That is number 4. But usually when I do these types of videos with the countdown, I like to have 5, a list of 5s, but I don't have the 5th item. So that is for you to comment below and tell me what your travel rant or beef is, what you would like to see us do better, and just so we can talk about it. I hope this video didn't offend anyone. That was not my intention. Just a little frustration about how traveling has become. We just need to do better. We need to, let me go through my list. We need to follow the rules, unless there's a rule that absolutely makes no sense. Of course, we need to follow the rules. We need to command respect. We need to be respectful of people's ear space and not talk on the speaker or play music. And we need to be considerate. So number 5, it's up to you to tell me what number 5 would be. So this is Joy from She Speaks Too. Make sure you like, comment, and make sure you subscribe, and I will see you later.